Hey everyone, welcome back to Sports Tea. Oh my gosh, tonight we're going to cook on the Bucks and Thunders game together. I'm really excited to talk about all things basketball tonight. Before we get into this game though, and the general state of the NBA, as you guys continue to come into the room, please make sure you like you smash the like button for me and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Um I want to take a moment to shout out the members of Sports Tea. You guys mean so much to me, and I do hope that it shows. And I want to kick off with Coach Marcus. Shout out to you. You are an all star, brand new member. I think you just joined today. So thank you so much. Salute to you. Silvio Manuel, as well. You are a brand new member today. Lester's Bananas. You just joined today as well. Wise Guy, Leon Jones, Right Hand Cam, Main Event, Brown B, Ill Will 42, Kedrian Hardy, William Wright, Lewis Matthews, Charles Hookah, Lisa Taylor, Brenda, Meg XD, Reginald McLendon, Panama 135, V Dub, Saeed Gore, Zeno Omega, Spurs Ann, Ron C23, Blanco Smoke, Carl for Anthony President. I'm sorry, Carl for President Anthony. That one always trips me up. Force Ghost Fabio, Yazid Yair Bay, T Bert the Twin, Relax and Focus, All Gravy, WW, Neil Howlett, Von Chris Cordova, KM, Big Al Master Chief, Mikey Brass, Sports Facts, Jeffrey Guyett, Christopher Baldwin, and It's Not That Serious. Thank you so much for being members of the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. Salute to you all. Thank you for helping me continue to grow the channel and expand. Let's see who we have in the chat here. How are you guys doing tonight? Salute to you. SGR 7th, Zarai Lion, Sports Facts, Gabe Moore, Greg Anderson, the contextualist, the man of every hour, Von Chris Cordova, Vanita Hawes, We Max It Football, James Maxwell, Frankie Fernandez, Push, shout out to Harlem, Michael Knight, Brother Juma. Who else do we have? Lee Kinney, Eldon Jr. I'm sorry, Eden Jr. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thinking of dominance in different categories, not skill and impact on both ends of the floor, is it fair to consider Giannis a modern version of Hakeem Olajuwon? So I don't think he's Hakeem Olajuwon. I'm going to be really honest with you. Hakeem Olajuwon is one of the most skilled big men, if not the most skilled big men that we've ever seen in the history of the sport. I mean, that I've at least ever seen. And Giannis, for me, I'm going to be very honest with you. He just doesn't have the skill. I think he's a very low skilled player. I think that he works incredibly hard. He does not take a possession off, and he deserves all of the success, the accolades, the shout outs, the praise that we're about to give him for sure. But there are holes in Giannis's game. Not even that he can't shoot the ball, it's more of his footwork, it's more of his dribbling and just some of the decision making. So I find him to be a flat player, very like one dimensional, and that's okay because he's doing what works for him. But I just don't think that he has the skill that the Dream had. The Dream, I don't see the comparison, but I understand what you mean. He's definitely dominant. He's one of the most dominant players that we're going to see in the history of the sport, and I do believe that that Giannis is going to be a legendary player in this league. So, yeah. But thank you for your super chat. Salute to you, Eden Jr. I really appreciate you. Hydra, salute to you as well. Ed Frank, Mr. James Number Suits. Yes, congratulations, Darvin Ham. Salute to him. We're going to talk all about that. No hate, only facts. I believe each player gets 500K. Blacksmith, Afro Universe, Brian Allen Hines, fan of all metal. I really am about to butcher this name, but I'm gonna do it anyhow. Yzidro Petrichol. I would love for you to put a, like, pronunciation in the chat just so that I know how to pronounce your name so that I don't keep butchering it. I've seen you in here a couple nights, and I really wanna get it right. Michaela McZeal, salute to you. Young Hollywood, what's up? The Drew Show. Really appreciate you. That's Rod. That's one of my favorite callers. Shout out to you, Rod. Doctor, salute to you for the $5 super chat. Two Raw congratulated Darvingham for going undefeated in the Cup tourney for 2 years straight and gave the middle finger to the fanboys. And don't worry, we're going to get to that as well. All right, guys. Rasul, salute to you. Oh, thank you so much for asking, Wise Guy. My dog is so cute and I just love him so much. The walk was great. It's like my nighttime decompressor as well as jumping on live with you guys and talking about sports. So, thank you all for being here. I promise I won't keep you too long tonight, but I definitely want to talk about this game. So before we even talk about the game, so I just want to let you guys know I was at work, I was watching the game at my desk, and at the same time I had the game on, like, basically the volume on mute, and then I'm listening to Ticket call the game. Literally one of the most entertaining things that you could ever, like, listen to. I love listening to Ticket call the games as I'm watching. It's really great. And I do want to take a moment to shout out Ticket TV. He is, I wanna say that he's encouraging content creators to essentially be the change that we wanna see in the NBA, and it's inspiring because great basketball still exists. It really does. And what we need to do is we need to positively reinforce it, and we need to shout it out just as loud as we call out the criticism. Okay, so let's get into this NBA Cup final. The Bucks spanked the Thunder. And I thought that they would. Honestly, I called it. There were a couple of other people in the sports world saying that they were going to win as well. Um, and yeah, I mean, Doc Rivers and Giannis, they react to their win post game. And I want to play their comments for you guys, and then we'll go ahead and discuss it. Hold on, guys. Hmm. You guys can't really hear it, can you? It's super low. Hold on a sec. I wonder why it's so low. Hold on a sec, guys. Hmm. So you guys can hear this sound bite? It's coming through really low in my headphones. Yeah, I didn't think you guys could hear it. So hold on a sec. I'll have to play it a different way. I'm sorry, guys. One moment. I'm still like navigating this new sound system that I have. It's a really cool device, but I'm like a million years old when it comes to technology. So just bear with me a moment. Throw a one in the chat if you can hear this. One moment.
Now we're not going to go to break.
No
That
break,
is
no
right here.
break.
You know how TV works, Doc?
Yes, I do. Come on, Giannis.
Come on.
You know, Doc, I'm gonna start this off because we played together.
Yes.
Congratulations.
To me, it was an '80s, '90s game,
Yeah.
and I thought you guys took the pace away from it. You know, obviously y'all started to click offensively,
Yeah.
but I looked at your defense had to catch up to your offense. Take me to how you got to this point defensively.
That's what the whole thing. Like we believed in our offense even at the beginning of the year. Our shooters are great shooters are not making shots. They don't forget how to shoot. You know that's going to happen at some point. Where we needed to catch up was defensively. We changed the system. We did a lot of different stuff, and then all of a sudden you can see everybody buying in and doing it. And tonight was a great example of that. Like we heard for 3 days about their defense, and all we kept talking about is our defense. And I thought the game became slow, mucky, and our size showed out.
Giannis, I got to ask you, it seemed like you were quite emotional after that was over. I mean, what goes through your mind after this? You know, you guys start a certain way, 2-8. You guys have made this push, and now you get one step closer to, you know, achieving something that's the ultimate goal.
You know, obviously when we had a shaky start in the beginning of the season, but we never lost trust in our abilities and in the group. You know, coach kept saying that we got to set the table for everybody else. We got to compete. You know, we got to play team basketball. We got to trust one another. That's what's missing. It's easy for me to play hero ball. We are a very talented team. Dame can play hero ball. Chris can play hero ball. Brooke, everybody's so talented. Bobby can play one-on-one. But at the end of the day, how can we come together as a group? And I feel like the last 15 games, we've come together as a group. We've played a lot of close games. One game that we lost in Boston, the last 4 minutes, I remember after the game, we had the opportunity to put the game away. We didn't because we didn't play as a group. You know, we came after the game, coach said, you got to play as a group. You got to set screens. You got to roll. You got to move the ball side to side. You got to trust one another. That's how you win games, you know, and that's what we've been trying to do. It's not easy, but me and Dame, we are on the same page, and we are going to continue to do that because we believe that's the best chance we have to win games. We've improved. We are getting better. And hopefully we keep on getting better, and we compete because we really believe in this group, and we believe that we have a chance to go deep into the playoffs.
Giannis, it's just like I asked Doc, and I've been in this league. It's easy to trust offensively,
Yes.
but tell me as a leader how you led guys to trust defensively, because you can do your job, I can do my job, but one guy not doing his job throws everything off defensively.
1,000%, and that's why we have a great defensive coaching staff that we keep one another accountable. You know, in every timeout, you can hear the guys compete. You know, we yell to one another, compete. Make sure you box out. Make sure you show crowd. Make sure you close out with the stick hand. You know, make it tough for them. We have great coaching staff that keep giving us reminder that we have to go out there and compete. Like you can see in the third quarter, we came out and they only scored 14 points. You know, our defense create better offense. That's who we are. If we don't play defense, we have a tough time. And we have to play defense, win basketball game, and it proved it tonight.
Doc, I wanted to ask you about these last 16 games. Yeah, the defense has gotten a lot better, but also the shooting, especially the three-point shooting. In your wins, you guys are averaging about 42%.
Yeah, well, a lot of that is Dame and Giannis. You know, tonight was a great example. Oklahoma's a great defensive team. We knew they were going to load up on Dame and Giannis, and we knew that Giannis had to be a playmaker, and Dame, that's what he was. The more he was that, the more our guys made shots. Like I told Steve early, you know what, Gary Trent was shooting like 20%. Brooke couldn't make shots. Bobby, I was never concerned by that. They're great shooters. Eventually, that's going to come. The fact that our key guys kept trusting them showed, and it showed out tonight.
You know, my last question is, Giannis, for you and Doc. You do this defensively and offensively without one of your better players, Chris Middleton. I mean, take me through the mindset for you and you, Giannis, when Chris is fully back. How good can this team be?
No, it gives us another facilitator. Chris organizes our team as well as anybody on the floor. And him and Giannis have such a chemistry. That helps us as well. And it gives us another go-to scorer. So he means so much to this team. But we got to allow him to get healthy. Like, we're going to play him. We're going to keep up in his minutes. But we got to make sure we get him healthy.
I totally agree. He's just a smart player, a great decision maker. He's a winner. But coming to the game, he wasn't feeling well. I think we had the conversation, me and Dame, in the locker room, that Chris was not available for tonight. But we had to set the tone to the team. It doesn't matter who's available, who's not.
Yes.
Because we are building a culture here that no matter who plays, we gotta compete. If I'm out, the team still gotta compete. That's who we are. Win or lose, that's what we do. But for sure, Chris levels the team up. I've played 12 years with Chris. We can connect with our eyes closed. And he, as coach said, he got to get 100% healthy. And we know that he's going to get healthy and he's going to help us moving forward.
Before I let you go,
Congrats.
oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying congrats.
I was going to say,
Look at
congrats,
all
but
this
before I let
trophies.
you go, as a leader of this team, are you planning the post-game celebration? Are you fitting the bill? What is the deal? You
I
got
like that part.
15K
You said-
richer, man.
You paying?
No, I'm not paying.
Oh, I loved that post-game interview. I really did. And I knew the Bucks would detonate SGA. And I'm pretty sure that I said that Shea had to go for 30 to 40 points in order for OKC to win this game. I do think that he's overrated, okay? And that's not a popular opinion of many. And when I say overrated, not in the way that I think he's terrible or can't play the game, I just don't think that he's a real MVP candidate. And I don't think that the Thunder are true contenders. I think that they are a second round knockout, even with all the weapons that they have. I also saw him in the Olympics, and he didn't look good in FIBA. I don't like seeing guys look great in the NBA and then awful in FIBA games. I need to see you perform no matter what court you're on. But he does have a lethal mid-range game, and he's smart. He knows how to play a brilliant game of basketball, and he plays on both sides of the floor. So, I really do appreciate SGA. And I appreciate him as one of the great guards in the league. But for me, this is less about OKC and SGA and more about the Bucks, how they played and how well they were coached. And I want to congratulate the Bucks on winning the in-season tournament. Darvin Ham got his lick back big time. He got fired from the Lakers after winning the NBA Cup last year, and he was wrongly terminated. And I stand by my statement that the Lakers need to be investigated for wrongful termination. Giannis is officially, okay, and I never thought that I would say this, but Giannis Antetokounmpo is officially one of my favorite players in the NBA. Okay? If even just out of that post-game speech that he had, or that interview that he had, key things that he said to me, the biggest thing for me was, win or lose, we have to compete. I loved it. Win or lose, Giannis's heart, it doesn't pump Kool-Aid ever. He wants to compete. He wants his team to compete. He's going to reach back and lift them up. They have to come up with him. So it's either up or out. He wants his teammates to play up, to play better, or get out. And I love it. Honestly, that's how I approach my work. Okay? If my team members, if they don't want to work to my standard, if they don't want to, move up with me because I plan to go places, then I need you off my team. I need the very best person on my team at all times. I need a team that, that wants to row in the same direction. It's not going to be a cakewalk. There's going to be hard work involved. And I need innovators on my team. I need people that want to, not just work with me, but continue to move up. If you don't want to do that, if you don't want to win, then I need you off my team. And that's the attitude that Giannis has, and I absolutely love it. So, and I can no longer deny him. He puts his head down and he gets to work. I can no longer deny him his ethic, his coachability, as well as his respect for his coaching staff. And specifically this season, I didn't like how he treated Adrian Griffin at all. I was very vocal about that. But the belief that he has in Doc Rivers and the defensive coaching team, specifically Darvin Ham, that means a lot to me. You don't hear guys praise their coaching staff. Giannis isn't dumb. He knows the Lakers took a complete crap on Darvin Ham's head, and he wants to right that wrong. He wants to make sure that everybody knows that he wasn't the problem. He deserves a job in this league. So, like I said, I love their post-game comments, and I'm impressed with Giannis and his maturity in this league and how he carries himself. He wants to push his team, and quite frankly, he sounds like a winner. Do I have problems with Greek Freak's lack of skill? Yes, I do. But he works on his game season over season, and he doesn't have any fear. If his shots don't fall, he's not scared to keep shooting the ball, and he will just get to the rim. And he has no fear in his heart. I never see his heart pump Kool-Aid, ever. Giannis is the leader of the FNBA, not Jokic, definitely not Embiid, not Luka or SGA. It's Giannis. And it has been. Now, let's take a look at the box score and dig into this game real quick. So when we go ahead and take a look at the team's stats, so Giannis scored 26 points, 10 of 19 field goals, 6 of 11 free throws. So he didn't shoot very well from the free throw line. The team didn't. I think they were somewhere in the 60s percentile. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 21 points. He shot horrible, 8 of 24 shots. OKC shot very well from the free throw line. But when you take a look at just like what happened in the game from a team stats perspective, we can see a lot. So clearly, the Thunder shot from 3 like complete shit. They made 5 threes the whole game. That is just out of 32. So they took 32 3-point shots and they only made 5, whereas the Bucks hit 17 of those threes. OKC shooting 15% from 3 is disgusting. 15%? It's almost as if they had Bronny all over the 3-point line all game. That's not going to work. That's not going to win. They shot 81% from the free throw line versus the Bucks 66%. And they had the advantage at the free throw line. They went 4 more times. They could not rebound the ball. The Bucks annihilated them on the glass, offensively and defensively. The Bucks assisted the ball well. Literally in this game, OKC could not score. I thought that they were going to be left under 80 points. I literally thought the Bucks were going to hold them to about 78 points. In the last minute of the game, it looked like they just were not going to score. I'm like, please get to 80. Please get to 80. I think Giannis had all of the blocks in the game as well. We'll take a look at the individual box score and see. I mean, the Bucks turned the ball over 19 times, and OKC could not capitalize off of those turnovers. The Bucks turned the ball over 19 times, and they only conceded 11 points. OKC had a problem with scoring. They could not score the ball, and that was because of the Bucks' defense. Defensively, the Bucks were elite. So let's go ahead and take a look at, what they did individually that kind of led to this loss for OKC. I mean, when you take a look at, the bench, they didn't deliver. The bench scored what? 12 points, and look at what the The Bucks bench did. I'm sorry. So OKC's bench scored about 5, 10, 15 points off the bench. The Bucks, Gary Trent scored 13 by himself. AJ Green, another 9 points. Then you had Bobby Portis with 5. And Bobby Portis, even though he only had 5 points, just his presence on the floor, it was really good. He still had 9 rebounds. Defense and rebounds, that is what ultimately wins games and titles. Damian Lillard showed up. He came to play. He almost scored just as many points as Giannis. He was 50% from 3. Not bad. No complaints. Brooke Lopez, 50% from 3. Not bad. This is a recipe for winning. And then when you go ahead and take a look at just like the shot selection of Giannis and Dame, and you see like Giannis, he struggled to hit any jump shots. He's not a very good shooter. But what did he do? He attacked the basket. They had no answer for him. He was just jumping over defenders. He didn't even really have to run them over. Yes, he did run people over a couple of times in the game. There were moments where I'm like, okay, is the NBA going to officiate rugby or is it going to be basketball tonight? And it was in fact rugby. They just weren't calling anything. So they didn't call on really any side, and I loved it. So you're going to let Giannis play rugby? Let OKC do the same thing. And they did. So both teams were just running over defenders. It was great. But again, even Dame, when you take a look, he shot the ball. He played the perimeter, but he also drove and kicked. And that's what we saw a lot. They played from the inside out. It was highly defensive. And it was great basketball. And so I need to congratulate them. I need to shout them out. We need to celebrate this because great basketball was on display tonight. The game was over in the third quarter. The OKC, you could just tell that there was no way they were going to be able to come back because they don't have an answer for Giannis. And they could not stop the perimeter shooting. All they could really do was focus on Dame and Giannis. And if they were on them, somebody else was going to get that ball and score. And that's exactly what happened. But yeah, I mean, this was a matchup of speed versus size. Period. What I love that Doc Rivers did is he had a lot of really motivational words for the team headed into the game. I feel like the players are not really listening to the coach, and I believe that they were. Even just Giannis repeating back what his coaches are telling him post game, it was special to me. It shows that everybody's truly locked in. The coach's voice is being heard. Doc Rivers said, "Together we win. They hit us first, we hit second. We have to attack." Those were the words that Doc Rivers used for the Bucks, and I'm really proud of how they came out and executed his vision. I really am. It's just fantastic. First quarter, SGA hits the first jumper of the game from mid-range. They look good in the first sequence of the game, and then Giannis definitely charges into the paint as I expected. Dame and Giannis, they attracted so much attention that it allowed the best shooter in the league currently, Taurean Prince, who's got the highest percentage in the league, to get some more open looks. OKC had multiple rotations and screen rolls in one play. OKC's offense looked better than the Bucks to start the game. In the first quarter, I'm like, okay, wow, OKC is coming out, super aggressive on offense. And I mean, it was just because each player was so involved and has a role to play. The Bucks have more of a one-dimensional offense. Both teams were a joy to watch. Giannis came out super aggressive, utilizing his size. The Bucks are just a big team, and OKC is a fast team. They really know how to swing the ball. SGA went off and had 10 first quarter points. I mean, they looked like they wanted to win this game. Caruso came in off the bench and he was playing like shit. Personally, I didn't like what he was doing on the floor, couldn't space the floor and clog the lane and the perimeter at the same time. I never thought that I could see that. But then all of a sudden, he hits this big 3-point shot to take the lead at the end of the first quarter. And I mean, what it said to me is, okay, OKC has weapons. And not only do they have weapons, but they have smart players who really know how to play basketball. I have to say, watching Brooke Lopez play the perimeter and shoot threes, like some of them fall, some of them are disastrous bricks, but the lane needs to be open in order for Giannis to bum rush it. So second quarter rolls around and Damian Lillard, he kicked it off with a nice 3-point shot, putting them up by 2 points. Dame Lillard, as much as I think he plays like shit in critical moments, he had great poise in this game. And what I love about Dame the most is the way he elevates off the floor for his jump shots. I do want to take a moment to call out OKC for the terrible perimeter shooting. I mean, the amount of wide open looks the Bucks had annoyed me. Bobby Portis is solid off the bench, giving Giannis a break. He shot from 3, battled in the paint. OKC then goes on an 8-0 run, and the Bucks wind up breaking that up with Portis's layup. But then they take him out of the game. Third quarter comes around. Taurean Prince and Dame have back-to-back threes to start the third. Doc Rivers told the team they have to win the 3-point contest. And I mean, that was just clear. I mean, in most of these NBA games, they call it a make or miss league, and you've got to hit your threes. The Bucks were super defensive. They were packing the paint and forcing not only bad passes but bad shots. And what I loved about the third quarter and what I noticed most notably was that Doc Rivers, he had really great substitution patterns. It was like his coaching was on display in this game all game long. And specifically in the third quarter, I think when it mattered most, when guys can get gassed, he takes Giannis out of the game with about a minute left on the clock. And he made sure that he preserved him to go beast mode in the fourth quarter. But he didn't need to. Game was over. I think they were up by like 14 or 16 points by the end of the third quarter. Fourth quarter rolls around and they just keep going. And I mean, that's that's pretty much the game. I do want to know what you guys think. Was this a competitive game? I'll open up the phone lines and I'll read some comments. All right, guys. Call in. Like, do you think that the NBA Cup final was competitive? Was it a competitive matchup? Was it a competitive game? I'm definitely not calling SGA a choker, not at all. The Bucks were just that good. So I want to be clear. I think a lot of really great things about SGA. I don't think that he is really an MVP candidate the way that most people do. I don't believe in Oklahoma City. Thank you for calling Sports Tea. Talk to me nice. Hello? Oh, looks like we lost that caller from Houston. Let's see. Let's try it again. Thank you for calling Sports Tea. Talk to me nice. Hold on one second, Rod. Hold on. I don't know what's up with this. Hold on, quick second. I don't know why I can't hear you. Maybe this is why. Can you hear me now, Rod? I don't know what's happening, guys. Hold on a sec. Hmm. Hold on, guys. Let me call you right back, Rod. Can you guys hear me? No. You guys can hear me okay? I don't think so. That's interesting because I can't hear myself. Thank you, guys. Why are you guys saying that I'm capping? ESPN. Hold on, Rod. I'm having some technical difficulties. Give me a second. Okay, hello. Yeah, so now it's my headphones, and I can't hear anything in my headphones, so hold on a sec. Okay, I think I can hear myself now. Beautiful. Let's see if I can make a call, and then we'll be back in action. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm still just learning and getting the hang of this thing. Can you guys hear me okay? I know, Spurzan, I'm working on it. I promise.
Hello, Dominique. I'm talking to you. Can you hear me?
Hey, Rod. I'm so sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah, I get it. It's technical difficulties, and these things aren't always explained. You know, there's like some video and some instructions, and who knows. You know.
Honestly, I'm
And my
just
phone.
good at this stuff. I'm a total girl when it comes to technology. I have like literally a brand new sound system here, and it's so great. And I just can't. I watched like 400 videos last night, and sorry, it's gonna take me a little while, guys. Bear with me. But Rod,
You just gotta drive it. You gotta drive it. You gotta drive. Well, I talked to you last time, and I didn't. I said I probably wasn't gonna watch this, so I ended up watching most of it. And I got to say, I got a couple complaints. I mean, first of all, I'm paying for cable, right? I don't know why I don't get HD, on like the network. It's on ABC. This is a big cable company. For me to get HD, I got to go on Disney and stream it on the internet. So that's a big fail. The drunk guys heckling people all night. Why were they mic'd up? I mean, it was just like, what's going on? Was there a mic right in their face? Were they influencers? Who were they? Were they big shots? I don't know. It was interfering with the game. It kind of ruined it for me. And I don't know. It was heckling all the time, counting down on Giannis, whatever. And then at the end of the day, I just didn't like how OKC didn't make any adjustments, and the coach didn't make an adjustment. I guess they were tied at the half, but they didn't do anything, and they just kept jacking up threes. And I guess it's just desserts because the old school coach beat the new school philosophy, and I guess it's something that needed to be done. And I like Giannis, and I agree with everything you've said so far about his skill and his abilities, but it was somewhat entertaining. So were you entertained, Dominique, with this?
I actually was, and I thought it was a defensive game. I love when, it was competitive, at least through the end of the third quarter. And quite frankly, it was really good. I really enjoyed the game. There was a moment where I thought, this is just going to be a 3-point contest. But they played good basketball. Like I said, inside out. They did a lot of things, and the game really, like you said, Rod, it boiled down to coaching. OKC, first of all, I don't even know that the coach had no answer because there was no answer. There was no player on that team that was able to guard Giannis. I mean, the way that Giannis just kept spinning baseline, he kept doing some of the same things over and over and over. They had no answer. Once he gets a good
Yeah,
feel, once he gets the defender on his back, it's over. Every single time he feels the defender on his back, he's spinning, and they have no answer for it. So
yeah. Outside of Hartenstein and that other guy, which is the one that's hurt, um, they're a small team. They're like 6'4", 6'5". There's maybe 1'6'9" guy, and what's Shea Gilchrist-Alexander's like one of the taller people. He's a guard, and I think the coach could have tried to run him off some screens, right? But he didn't make those adjustments. And I just want to give credits to Jackson from UConn. You know, he's he was a junior who was drafted. So he came in ready-made. He's won 2 national titles, or 1 national title. I'm not sure. This might be a second year. But he comes from that program, and he came in ready-made. And that's the kind of thing I think the NBA needs more players like that who can come in and serve a role instead of these one-and-done guys. They kind of have to, like, learn the game, and especially if they're not from Europe, but they got to learn the game. And the role players, Prince, I don't know who that other guy was, the 3-point shooter. He's been in the league a while, comes off the bench. I think their 3-point shooters got setups that were easy, and they were able to run them off the, whatever the screen and roll stuff that they were trying to do with shot. And it was kind of gumming up. So nothing was being made. But I like the fact that this is what, it was like a statement game. I don't think that I do think that OKC in a 7-game series would put up a fight. That's all I gotta say. It's gonna be like this, like the whole 3-game series or a 4-game series or sweep. But we'll see if the NBA adjusts or this is what's going on. But I was happy with that. But other than that, this is.
I was happy. There were some things that I expected. I expected for Giannis for there to be some protection, some FNBA protection. So, the foreign players in the league are typically protected. The calls are going to go their way. I've seen it with Luka, Giannis, Jokic, SGA. I've seen it. And so, typically Giannis is just allowed to travel, carry the ball, take 9 steps into the paint, literally run over defenders. He oftentimes is playing rugby, and I'm not mad at him. They're allowing it. And what I loved about it is that they allowed it for both teams. So Hartenstein was just charging as well. Like both teams played competitively. They played to win. I have no issue with this game. There were mistakes that both teams made on both sides of the floor, but overall, I have to say, I thought the NBA Cup final was good. I thought it was good basketball. I want great basketball to come back to the league. So I have to reinforce these behaviors. And Giannis, to me, he has the mentality that basketball players need to have in order to win. So
yeah, but did you catch the great Bill Simmons? And I say that sarcastically. Did you catch his? Did you catch his little 20-minute diatribe of really saying nothing about the NBA, but he's trying to talk about what everybody's been talking about the past few days or the last week? Even Windhorst did a thing about, what's wrong with the NBA? It's a 3-point shooter. You've been talking about it from the jump.
Right. They're several weeks late. I don't know if they're watching Sports T, Man Down, Ticket TV. Who knows what they're watching? But, they are 2 days late and $1 short. And I'm going to get into that. So I'm not going to address Bill Simmons specifically because to your point, I don't think he's really saying much, but I did find some decent sound bites surrounding that. And I'm going to play it. So once we hang up,
he came up with this thing, he comes up with these phrases and these catchphrases for his low IQ audience. And he has this thing now he's talking about, instead of unicorn players, he's talking about unicorn eras or moments. And I really don't understand it. I'm too dumb to think about unicorn moments. But he went on for 30 minutes talking about these. He goes all the way back to 1950 and he comes all the way to today. I don't even know what he said. Don't know. He said a lot of stuff about bet. Here I'm at. I'm on DraftKings or whatever his sponsor is. I mean, there's a bunch of those things, but I don't know what the freak he was trying to say about the NBA not being in trouble or being in trouble.
Right.
And I think the thing is that they're not marketing this like the NFL, and they need to start marketing the NBA like the NFL, where you root for your team instead of these personalities. I mean, you're saying great for Giannis. I give him credit. He stayed in Milwaukee. I mean, I don't know what happened with him and Coach Bud or the next coach, but he certainly did learn his lesson, where everybody was pressuring him, include in the media, to turn on Doc Rivers. He turned it in on himself, and he's going to stand by him. He's not going to run off another coach or whatever happened with the last two previous coaches. At least he learned his lesson. I hope other people in the league learn the lesson, but they need him. Why hasn't he been marketed more by the league instead of Bill Simmons saying, "Oh well, people don't like foreigners"? I mean, it's kind of like, foreigners are what we're going to get. And is SGA a foreigner? He's Canadian. Is he really a foreigner? He's a Canadian guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that. To me, the reason why I say that Giannis is the leader of the FNBA players is because he wants that. He wants to be marketed. He wants the attention. He wants to be a household name. And I think that they moved away from him. So Giannis was the guy for the NBA. And they moved away from him because he had injuries. He had the firing of these coaches. And, the Bucks didn't seem like they were, going to get back to contention. So they had a revolving door of coaches, Doc Rivers being the third. And it just, they moved on to Luka. They wanted to crown him the leader of the FNBA. And they started to literally cheat for him. They, they were just letting him do whatever he wanted. And then finally they fouled him out in the finals, which was embarrassing. And who knows if they're going to make it back to the finals this year again. But what people are saying, there's smoke where there's fire. And I think that, like Jokic, for instance, he does not want to be marketed. And so, Rod, like what we're talking about right now, it's going to bleed into my next topic. So thank you so much for calling. I am going to jump
you
to the
do a
next
great
topic.
show.
Thank you.
I'm going to listen. Thanks, bye.
Bye-bye. So, yes, we are going to move on to the next topic, and that's going to be NBA All-Star. I don't know if you guys have been, sort of just watching or paying attention to what's going on in the sports world. But now that we discussed the NBA Cup, I really want to talk about the new All-Star format. And again, this is something that I addressed weeks ago. It was announced several weeks ago, but it's trending again today. And it's because Kevin Durant spoke out about it. The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington, they react to it. And I want to play Kevin Durant's comments as well as their reaction, and then we'll go ahead and discuss it. Okay, so my sound bites are still not, they didn't load in properly, and I have to take a look at that, but I am going to go ahead and still play it for you. It was pretty interesting.
So the NBA today announced the new
1 second.
All-Star game.
Whoops, I'm not connected. I just have to connect to my Bluetooth, and then we should be ready to roll. Okay. Let's see, is it going to work now?
Game format, Rob.
What the hell? I'm so annoyed. Okay, it should be working now.
Please tell us about it, because I got a headache just reading what they're going to do. And then a big star in the league spoke out against it.
That's right. It's a new format, and I don't blame you for not understanding it, Rob, because it's very convoluted. We'll try to get through the best we can. The 24 NBA All-Star selection, which is every year, are going to be divided up into 3 8-player teams. There's going to be a 4th team with the Rising Stars. We don't care about them, though. These teams are then going to be drafted general manager style by the TNT analysts Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith. Inside the NBA guys are involved with it. 2 teams will meet in one semifinal.
Oh, my God.
The other 2 meet in another semifinal. The winning teams, they'll face each other for the championship. And the way to win each game is you got to score or surpass 40 points. So that was the news of the day. Earlier this afternoon, though, they asked Kevin Durant to share his
KD, a perennial all-star.
Progressive all-star format. Here's what he had to say.
Absolutely terrible. All-star game, formats changing, all the formats terrible in my opinion. We should just go back to East-West. I think we've been trying to bring that flair back somehow with the All-Star weekend, but maybe just keep it traditional. We'll see how this one works. You never know. I might be wrong. I'm just another guy with an opinion.
Hey, Kelvin.
Yeah.
Here we go. Not only is this terrible Boulder Dash, poppycock, and all the other stuff I could say and how awful this is set up, but let me say this right here. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver is the worst commissioner in sports. You hear me? The worst commissioner in sports. I have no idea what he's trying to do. This is not soccer. We don't care about all this you're trying to steal from what they do in Europe. Stop with all the changes and trying to be cute. You just heard Kevin Durant. East, West, let's have a basketball game. For God's sakes. What is this? And I say he's the worst commissioner because he has coddled the players. They have overrun him. Do you remember last year? He sent Dr. J and Larry Bird into the locker rooms and asked the players to play hard. Let's have a game this year. And guess what? The final score was over 200 at each side. How embarrassing. That was them rubbing it in his face, telling him, be quiet, old man. No, we'll do what we want to do. And here's the worst part. There's no way he is the commissioner who has allowed the players to ruin the league. He's the guy. Load management. You think David Stern would go for load management? You think the networks are happy with the NBA product? Obviously, fans aren't. They've lost, 24%? Half of their viewership in the last couple of years? That's not by accident. And you can't say it's a trend in sports. You know why? Baseball, attendance is up and ratings are up. Football, ratings are up. Of the big 3, the only one that's suffering is the NBA. And it's not because there's some trend going on in sports. It's because the NBA product is total garbage. And this all-star game format is terrible. As Kevin Durant said, it's garbage. Just stop the game. Forget the game. Do what the NFL did when they realized that the Pro Bowl was old and outdated and no one was interested in it and nobody wanted to play in it. They just said, forget about it. That's what they need to do here.
Mike.
That's when the bombs were dropped, the Funk's Flex bombs. Here's the issue. There's multiple issues here. And Adam Silver has gotten a lot right, but where he's getting this wrong is a multitude of things. Number one, you've made so many changes over the last 7-8 years, even if you did make changes, because ultimately I get that, right? We've seen that in baseball, make some changes. We've seen it in NFL. Can you stick with one? Can we let one, even if you feel the need to make the change, we'll let the change breathe, Rob. We started one where it was all right, you draft players. You get a guy on each side, you draft. Okay. It's the first to a certain amount of points in the fourth quarter. Okay. Now it's going to be East, West, West again. Even if you're going to change it, Stick with the change. Let it build. Let the momentum grow. You keep changing. You keep changing. You keep changing. And that's a sign of a person that's panicking, right? We change. We figure out, okay, we got to do this. We got to do that. Just get back to hooping. Just get back to hooping when it's just man oh man, mano we mano, and that's all that we need. Roll the ball out.
Adam Silver is out here scrambling and scraping. The NBA is scrambling and scraping. The NBA is trying to make fetch happen with all the all-star game changes and these gimmicks. Folks just really want to see 90s basketball in today's era. That's all real NBA fans really want. We want to take it back to the 90s and the early 2000s where you played the game inside out. We want to see competition. We want to see the drive in players to compete. We want rivalries. We want players to hate each other on the court. We don't want to see them giving each other hugs, standing around on offense and defense. We want to hear accountability from players and coaches after games, not deflection and excuses. Just like Kevin Durant mentioned, keep it traditional. Make basketball great again. Currently, the NBA is just in shambles. David Stern, Kobe Bryant, Bill Russell, and Jerry West are all rolling over in their graves right now. Absolutely disgusting. Fix it, Adam Silver. Fix it. Adam Silver, you are responsible for this. Fix it. Do your fucking job. So now that we've addressed the All-Star game, we'll roll into the topic of NBA viewership and ratings and what's causing this decline. What's causing the decline of the NBA? I want to know. The Odd Couple, they continue to have an interesting conversation surrounding this. I do want you guys to hear it as well. I'll go ahead and play that for you guys.
We wanted to go more. We started with the NBA, that ridiculous all-star setup, and Kevin Durant, rightfully so, saying it's terrible. And we talked about the commissioner, who I think has just done a really bad job making I get you like soccer or whatever. I guess he plays soccer. I have no idea, but to make this about the NBA and the soccer is bad. And then, which further tells the point about Adam Silver, is what? The NBA Cup is about to tip off, and this is taken from soccer, right, where they have an in-season tournament. So this is, I guess he's looking across the pond and saying,
even the emeritus part of it, like the name of it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, listen, soccer, to its credit, is a behemoth in the world. Not here, but in the world. So that's the
when I was a
NFL
kid, when I was a kid, all they told me about was soccer was going to be the big game in the United States. I'm talking about when I was 9 years old, I heard that. Yeah. And here we are, 51 years later.
No, they are, man. They are. It's, 2,488. They're right.
Okay.
They're going to be right. Listen, a dead clock is right at one point, at least, you know what I mean?
I think it's already, popular in the United States to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But it's just not going to replace.
It's not, football is a behemoth. But that leads to the larger conversation, Rob, a point I made earlier. I want to dive a little deeper into this NBA, what the issue is, why the ratings are down 48%, almost 50% in the last 12 years, 20% year over year from last year to this year. I think there's a multitude of things that are happening. Number one, I think the money is so high, it's hard for guys to grapple with. Like, you had to compete back in the day. You were making good money compared to the regular human, but you weren't making generational money. And it's completely different now. These guys, you can be a middling player and making 35, 40 million a year. It's crazy. Also, I think a big challenge is these kids have been playing in AAU and games that technically don't matter. They're just showcasing their skills and all these elite this and elite that and all-star this, so that they've never really played in games that matter. They're playing in so many games where it's just about me showing you what I can do, versus this matters. The whole neighborhood is on the line. You know what I mean? When you had to compete, they just kind of get used to it. And then they go to college, Rob, what they do? They didn't have to be Duke versus Michigan and North Carolina and UNLV and compete Kansas for 2, 3, 4 years. They're going in there for 6 months. I'm only here for 6 months because I have to, because, you know, you want it done. I can't just go straight to the league. So they don't have those sense of rivalry, sense of competition, sense of fighting for it. And another point, and I think this may be the biggest, we have the stars of the league, our international stars, which in and of itself isn't wrong. However, Jokic, you know he loves basketball, but if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't know it. He never likes to talk about it, doesn't want to talk about it, loves talking about his horses, wants to go home, can't wait to leave America. And so you're losing the face of the league, the competitiveness of the league. You're losing the rivalries of the league when you have Luka, you have, like I said, Jokic, SGA, international. A lot of these guys, they're just there and they're really good, but they don't want the extra stuff. They don't want to be the statesman. They don't want to understand that, hey, this is a joint thing. I need you to be enjoying the league, competitive in the league, the face of the league, doing commercials for the league. We need you as much as you need this money. And I think we don't have that anymore. These guys kind of go home, come back. They play. I never could take anything away from Jokic, but they lost that star quality, that hunger. I want to speak up. I want to own this. I want to be the face of this. We don't have that. So now it's just a bunch of guys who are hooping, and some are pretty good and others aren't. And you lose track. You don't have rivalries. Guys are going to different teams.
But that's it's the AAU thing. That's
what I mean.
That has deteriorated the league. That has hurt the league, where people don't want to compete. We talk about all the time. There used to be a time, and you know this, where you wanted to be the best player in the city of Detroit, right? You wanted to be Okay. That's not how they do it anymore. We're 3 or 4 best players all play on the same AAU
Let's
team.
all go to Sierra Canyon.
Then they win all the games. There's no competition, right? And they all play together or whatever. Who wants to play where you don't lose a game because your team is stacked? I don't even understand that.
And this is what I mean when I keep bringing up part of it's our fault. And by our, I mean sports debate shows, Twitter, social media.
I think you're giving us too big of a crap.
No, but hear me out. Just hear me out. Hear me out. Where we created the Kevin Durant. Oh, he's nice, but he ain't got no rings. LeBron, at the time, he don't have any rings, or he only has 1. Kobe has 5. Jordan has 6. And everything became about the ring. So I'm not going to play because ultimately I'm a load manage because I'd be better off for the playoff chance. Hey, let me not man up and fight through. I'm going to go play with this guy and this team. Even though I was up 3-1 against the Warriors, I'm going to go join the Warriors, Kevin Durant, because I want to go team, because they're never going to say I'm good if I don't have a ring. We created this ring culture where guys, like, they're willing to sacrifice playing, I got to load manage. Men went in to go play with their quote-unquote rivals because I got to play. And so it used to be, man, you had to fight. Jordan had to earn it, right? Zeke had to earn it from the Celtics. The Lakers and Celtics battling it out. Like, and the 76ers in the middle of it, like, don't forget about us. You used to love seeing the Spurs, Lakers.
See, I don't think I'm going to disagree with you from this standpoint. Giannis, when Giannis lost in the playoffs, he could have gone to Miami, and everybody thought he didn't go that route. He didn't buy into that.
He's been threatening it lately.
No, but I'm talking about at that time. Everybody said he was dumb to stay in Milwaukee, and guess what? He won a championship. Kawhi Leonard could have gone to the Lakers or the Clippers. Okay. Both of them had money for him. They're both in LA, his hometown. You could go join up with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and he didn't go there. He picked the worst franchise to go to. And I'm just saying. I guess you're a great. Listen, I hear what you're saying, but
guys, like, for one, the NBA is a 3-point contest. We don't see anything happening on the floor that is demonstrative. Like, we don't see, how do I put it? Like, we don't see those kind of game-changing moments that we used to see. We no longer see demonstrative play enough for fans to watch. When we saw Michael Jordan, guys like Shaq, And guys like Sean Kemp demoralizing the defense by dunking on people. Remember the shattered backboards? Remember when backboards used to shatter on the court? We used to see things like that every night. We wanted to see that. I don't need to see three-point shots and layup lines. I'm good. I'm good off that. I really am. The commissioner, Adam Silver, is forcing it. He's forcing it with the in-season tournament. And he's going way too far for these strategies and ideas to work. And it tells me one thing. It's about ego and control. You're trying to shove this down our throats. You're trying to shove the European market down our throats. You're trying to shove in-season tournament down our throats. You're trying to remove physical defense and shove it down our throats, even though we're saying we don't want that. It's extremely annoying to me that he cannot do his job without trying to put his own stamp on something. I hate leadership like that. Have you guys ever worked with somebody like that? That they come into the group project, whatever it might be, and like they just have to steamroll over everybody? It's not collaborative thought. It's just the one person's voice. They only have room for their voice to be heard, their idea to be heard, and they're so desperate. They're desperate for credit. They're desperate to say, oh, I changed this. Here's my impact on the game. That's what people like Adam Silver want to do. That's what he's doing. He's forcing it so that he can have credit for something. And he wants to have credit for this shitty ass league. When you make your mark in anything, but especially as an NBA commissioner, it's because you made decisions, right, that positively impacted owners, players, and fans. Seems pretty simple to me. Players, owners, and fans. It's something that happens organically because you're good at your job. Not because you're trying to make your mark in the NBA. I'm sure you guys have heard the phrase dare to be different, right? That's what Adam Silver's dumbass is doing. He's daring to be different just for the sake of going against the grain. And it's not working out. It's just not working out. You cannot force people to compliment you or provide positive feedback if something sucks. He needs to stop worrying about getting credit for changing the league and just continue to do a great job. Be great at your job. And being great at your job, it doesn't necessarily mean changing things that were never broken to begin with. Like the All-Star game. Guys not wanting to compete, it isn't everybody. Rob Parker was right about that. And I love the examples that he used of Kawhi Leonard, Giannis. I mean, even take a look at DeMar DeRozan. He could have went to the Lakers and teamed up with Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Been a little trio over there. There are some guys that want to compete, believe it or not. Giannis never left his team. Steph Curry, he asked for some superstars. He asked for them to join him. And that is pretty bad. It's pretty awful, actually. But he never left his team. When the going got tough, when the seasons got rough, he didn't bail and request a trade. That wasn't Steph Curry. Giannis, Steph Curry. These are guys that are going to be legends. Steph Curry for creating dynasties. Giannis for being one of the most dominant players in the league. But that's what they're going to be known for. But what do you guys think? What's causing the ratings to decline? I saw someone in the comments, Chirac Maybach, salute to you. You're absolutely right. Michael Jordan had over 30 million people watching him. The last finals that he played in 1998, I believe it was 36 million viewers. The last finals that LeBron James played in, 5 million viewers. Pathetic. I'm going to read some super chats and then I'm going to open up the phone lines again for you guys. Young Hollywood, thank you for the 99-cent super chat. Salute to you. Shout out to you, The Drew Show. I don't know who the drunk hecklers were, influencers, high rollers, or whatever. They ruin the atmosphere like being at a bowling alley. I'm sorry to hear that. But thank you for the $5 super chat. We Max It Football. Bless up at work, but had to check in. I really appreciate you. I hope that your work night is going well. And thank you so much for watching. Salute to you. Thank you for the $5 super chat. And then we have another one from the Drew Show. Salute to you. Dunks and drives, not threes and touch fouls, 24 feet from the basket. Regular humans can't dunk. They can make three-pointers if they shoot enough. Silver, do your job. Do your fucking job, Adam Silver. Do your job. Fix it. Brown B, salute to you for the $5 super chat. I find myself watching games from the 90s just to see teams run offenses and play hardcore defense. Now it's 2 passes and a three-pointer, SMH. Yeah, I mean, like, we can shake our head all day about the way that they play in today's game. 90s basketball was just so great. Make basketball great again, Adam Silver. Make it great again. Let's see. I'm going to, like I said, guys, I'm going to open up the phone lines. Thank you for the super chats. I really appreciate you guys. Call in. I do want to know what you think. Why are the NBA ratings in the toilet? Thank you for calling Sports Tea. Talk to me nice.
Hey, good evening, Dominique.
Good evening. Is this Alexander?
Yeah, this is him. Yes, yes.
How's it going, buddy?
It's going good. I can get in a couple of hours of sleep before work because I get up at about 3. But this topic really hits home with me, and I'm willing to run down the lineup today. And I want to talk about the All Star, the NBA All Star game, and my quick fix is for Adam Silver every 2 years to have a USA versus the world. Like the national players from all over the NBA versus the American players every 2 years. And maybe take the matchups abroad every 2 years. And just have a regular all-star East-West year by year. And that's a quick fix solution. And some people say it may not work because the USA could lose. And I say that's what needs to happen. They're losing right now. They're losing us.
Right.
So it may take them getting their ass whipped in France, getting their ass whipped in China, getting their ass in Australia.
Right.
For an international all-star weekend. If Adam Silver really wants to take this game abroad, he has to delegate, which means delegate to people in the room. Like he said, he wants to own the fact that this was my idea, which I think is very selfish. Yeah. So he has to be open to other ideas, like the fans. The players have their ideas, but the fans are paying the tickets. The fans are the voters. We're the biggest contributors to the sport. I was part of that 36 man that watched Michael Jordan's last game. I recorded it because my uncle had to work. So I was watching the game and my mother's reading the book and I remember everything that happened. And I remember gameplay. It was broadcast in 4K maybe a few months ago. The real Minecraft reacted to it. And you can see the grit, you can see the spacing, the focus was there, the crowd, the energy. It was the loudest place at the time. I don't know where's the loudest place in the NBA right now. I don't know because viewership is down and the game stinks. But just to put a bow on the All-Star weekend, I just think the USA versus the world every 2 years would be a good quick fix solution.
if he wants to keep taking this game abroad. And I think All-Star Weekend should be abroad every 2 years with that matchup. And I think that'd be great. And as far as the NBA ratings go, yeah, it's obvious. Load management killing the game. And I agree, LeBron has been the biggest influencer of that. When the Spurs took that night off and they sent the starters home in Miami, I get it. That's the Spurs. We're not entertained by the Spurs. We respect the Spurs. Hats off how they play basketball, but it's not entertaining. And we knew that. The Miami Heat and LeBron are entertaining. You're a man. So for LeBron to adopt their philosophy and implement it on the league, as in, oh, they started it, but the biggest drug in the world is influence. LeBron has influenced load management. He's influenced nothing but pick and roll, which was mastered by, I thought, only John Stockton and Malone ran pick and roll. But LeBron has just adopted that to get the best defense on the team off of him. And now everybody in the league is scared to dunk now. They're scared to get dunked on because they don't want to go viral. The defense, there's no tenacity, no get after it on defense, like Kobe's tenacity on defense, Jordan's tenacity. That's why you felt like when you watch their games, you didn't really blame anybody else, but you were scared to blame the star player, but in your heart, you knew who that was, who was on. Because their energy, they set the tone. And LeBron has set a bad tone for the league. And so is Adam Silver, who's just following suit, or I would just say following the dollar. But and also the 3-point shooting has gotten out of hand. Rob Parker brought up a big stat where in 2015, 31 threes a game was number one in the league, and now it's last in 2024. But it's going to take an international player to really bring the heart and grit back to the NBA. But it's hard to say because they're all out of shape. They're not really built like the old players used to. They don't lift weights anymore. They use like elastic bands. So the players break easily as the bands do. You saw back in the day, Kobe lift weights, Jordan lift weights. Even Allen Iverson, as much as he ran about practice, I'm pretty sure he was lifting iron. Everybody needs to get back to iron. What Tim Grover said, the players are weak. They need to get back to training for 82 games instead of just preparing for a shoot around in the game time. So, as a wild shot in the dark, I would want Michael Jordan to be commissioner of the NBA. Why not? And I know I kind of went on a rant there. I've just a few other things I like to discuss, but what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that I don't know that Michael Jordan is the solve to being the commissioner because he wasn't a very successful owner as far as like his decision making there. So I'm not confident on him like being in an administrative role, any administrative role. I think he was a great player, but once he went, in the shadow, I don't think it was that great. But I would be a proponent of like a Joe Dumars. So he currently works for the NBA, and I wonder if he were to take over that position, what things would look like, what kind of decision making he would have, and if he would do a much better job. Like I'd rather roll with somebody who's currently understanding the workings of the NBA, but really knows what good basketball is and what a good product is. And I think his hands have been tied because Adam Silver is just out here. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. And honestly, he's really just carrying out the vision of, the original NBA commissioner. Going all the way back to the 60s, the NBA, they were obsessed with like the European market. They've always been obsessed with it. Always been obsessed with the European market. They never believed that they could market black players. They would openly say it after games. They would openly say that the league was too black. They couldn't market these players, and they didn't want to. So
I remember in the last dance, they went crazy over Jerry Krause going crazy over Kukoc. Like this started way back then. You start to see it. Like, why are we so
I'm talking
crazy
going
over
back to the 60s. It's literally
the
it's been the
60s.
60s, not the 90s. This is an obsession from the 60s, and they used to openly say it. Is what I'm trying to say. It became more like under the radar. By the time they couldn't just openly say in the 90s that they didn't want to market black players. They were just taking the actions. So in the 60s, when the league was all black, that's what they literally came out and said, that the league was too black. They were nothing but thugs. Then it became that everybody was on drugs, all these things. So they did not want to market black players. They were calling us the N-word. We're driving in the lane, they're calling us Negroes, and that Negro needs to know that he can't just drive in the lane. Like they never wanted to market black players, and Adam Silver is just continuing that.
Wow, that's interesting. I never really noticed.
Think
it
about
like
why
that.
they took away
Never
the
noticed that.
MVPs from Kobe and gave it to Steve Nash. I'm not saying that Steve
Right.
Nash wasn't a good player,
That
and I
was-
know that
that
Kobe
was-
got in
that was
trouble.
political.
I know that
Yeah, that was very political.
it wasn't just political though. Why didn't they give it to the next best player? It wasn't Steve Nash. They looked for another opportunity to do what? To market anytime that they have a different kind of player that's not black, they want to market that player. So they saw an opportunity to cheat Kobe out of the MVPs. And look who they gave it to. And look who they gave it to. So again,
the foreigners.
Again, like this has been something that they've been doing for years and years and years and years. This isn't new. It just shows up different ways. It manifests differently.
Right.
So they couldn't, they couldn't get the Europeans, like the Europeans couldn't necessarily, they weren't finding success in the league on their own. They weren't physical enough. They couldn't handle the physical defense.
Right.
Physical defense was then removed. Then we remove the defense. They still don't really quite have the moves and the skill. So what do? They just stop calling things like traveling and carrying the ball. What else did they do? They decided to just let them do whatever they want. So if they want to run over defenders, if they want to, stand around, like literally, they can foul, they can hack, they can run you over. Protection. So
yeah, it doesn't take much to score now. I'm like, wow, you used to have to have your fundamentals down pat to score in the 90s and early 2000s because there was a tone that was kept and held standard by Kobe with his fundamentals and his standard of play, raised everybody else's standard of play. And to see where it is now is just very sad. And I'm just gonna be, this is a small thing too. I don't even like the fact that the 2-3-2 format changed. I hated that. I mean, that's the way Bird won it, that's the way Magic won it, that's the way Kareem won it, that's the way Jordan won it, Isaiah, and nobody complained about it. But LeBron James, it's not fair to have 3 straight home games. I hear the complaints because, I'm melanated.
But
I know you, dog.
Think about what else they did for LeBron James, though. They had to give LeBron more opportunities to win. Do you think that he can deal with potentially getting swept in 3 games? Every playoff series is 7 games.
Yeah.
It used to be the best. The best in 5 for the early rounds.
That was best in 7. Yeah. And the 2-3-2 format, it forced you to win on the road. That's what I loved about it. It forced the better team to win on the road, and the series doesn't start until the road team wins. So why not keep that format? And that's just one of the very, very, very few things that I didn't like that was changed immediately. When I was like, "What? They're going 2-2-1-1-1-1? That's whack."
All they have done.
That's not how.
All they've done throughout the years is make it easier for every generation to play the game, including Michael Jordan. I love Michael Jordan, but the league did make it easier.
Yes.
But that was the perfect dynamic. That was the perfect combination of, us seeing really great skills on display, really great offense, as well as really great physical defense. It was a perfect combination of offense and defensive skill sets that were, allowed to be on display. And now all we get is straight offense. And occasionally when they allow teams to play defense, if they allow it, then we get to see a real basketball game.
Right. And I was watching Carcino and Kwame Brown today, and they were talking about Michael Jordan's tenacity on defense. And it was just a tone setter. It was a maintainer of the league standard because that era of the early 2000s was the toughest defensive era. It was lower scoring than it was in the 90s and the 80s. Because there was a tone being set out there that we're going to make it challenging. You're gonna have to have some skill to get by me instead of you just like LeBron or influence Olay defense everywhere, just everywhere. And every game is starting to look like the All-Star game.
I mean,
So yeah.
I feel you. I'm with you, Alexander. Thank you so much for calling in. You're awesome. And I just hope that you're having a really great evening.
Oh yeah, you too. And cook on for us too. Cook on.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, cook on. Keep cooking.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
All right, for sure.
All
Talk to you
righty.
later. Y'all have a
Take
good.
care. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and read some more comments, and then we'll go ahead and end the live. I really had a lot of fun tonight. For me, it was great. I love when we can really talk basketball and dig in. I saw some interesting comments. I usually don't respond too much to the trolls. Jason DeKid, I mean, I know that you're a LeBron fan, but tonight's show is not it's not about LeBron, and to me this comment is about that. Like Kobe didn't deserve MVPs. Why did Steve Nash deserve them? What did he do? Why didn't Kobe deserve his MVPs? Five-time champion only deserved one MVP whole career. Okay. I don't think that made. I don't see how Kobe shouldn't have gotten at least one of them. And I'm not saying that Steve Nash should have never had been most valuable player, but just don't think he was back to back. Am I crazy? Salute to you. Am I crazy? '60s was only 20% black. '60s, '70s. Obviously, I wasn't around in the '60s, but pretty much whenever there was a point, I believe it was maybe '70s, that the league became all black, and they weren't having it. They didn't want that. Yeah, and I saw another comment by Mercy saying that Adam Silver wasn't responsible and that, he was the least of the NBA's problems. I don't see how the leader, the person who makes the decisions, is not the problem. But yeah, I saw you making some comments against that, like Adam Silver has nothing to do with the issues in the NBA. So he's just there to collect the paycheck as well and doesn't have to do his job. He needs to do his job. I do agree with you that the Celtics are not a lock to win in this season. I think that there's multiple teams that could snatch the title from them, but I would like to see them repeat. We haven't seen anybody repeat. Hey, Funky Town, talk to me nice. I do want to keep calls to like about a minute because I am going to end the live soon. But tell me what you think is like why do you think that the NBA ratings are in the toilet? Yeah.
very few players who are you know, you got your Kevin Durant, you got your Kyrie Irving, you got they're myriad players. You got Jokic, you got stuff like that, but you don't have guys that are like you said, putting in a shift. You're not working. They're not putting in. They seem to be pampered and entitled in a lot of how they're being, you know, well, how I think a lot of the public looks at. They don't look like that this person is worth me the same. Whispering? I'm not whispering. Can you hear me, please?
I can hear you perfectly. Oh,
No.
can you guys hear Funky Town better now? Keep going. Keep talking, Funky Town.
Okay, y'all can hear me? You can hear me? Okay. Well, I can't tell. You can still hear me, you all?
They're saying now they can hear you. I think I had
Okay,
you
cool.
muted. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Not a problem.
so for everybody in the audience, why are the NBA ratings in the toilet in a minute or less, Funky Town?
Yes, we're low because LeBron is the fake guy that's been driving all this stuff. You got Adam Silver, who's basically looking at. They've been putting the profit in front of the sport for too long, and the problem is that you end up with a bad quality product, and the product has not been the driving force. Looking at what the fans, what really drew the fans in, and the things that drew the fans in, the eyeballs, was the athleticism on display. The thing is, when you look at how basketball used to be, the greatest basketball players, greatest athletes were considered basketball players. That's no longer the case. Literally, that's soccer. If you really want to be honest, worldwide, that's soccer.
Yeah.
And it's crept over here in the United States. And the thing that they're making a mistake is they're trying to say, okay, we want to be more like soccer. No, you can't do it. We don't have the same culture of sports that they have over there. Because what Americans don't understand or appreciate is how much people over there truly are sports fans. Like, if people are into handball, they fill stadiums or they fill their gyms to watch handball on TV. They like people they don't understand women's volleyball. Do you know where most of them play volleyball at? In Europe. All our girls that play for universities and go out, and even college. I mean, basketball. A lot of them, they play in Europe. And you know what? They get the people look at. They go to those games. They watch them play. They're known. They're celebrities over there. And over here, though, we have a lot of different stuff. But what we do over here is they're looking at people are trying to be too much like influencers instead of being really great at the game. So, like, I hats off to the WNBA. They put this year with the eyes on them. They did a really good job, in my eyes. That's why, to me, their product was much better for me to watch than what the NBA has been doing for years. The NBA has been terrible to watch. It's a layup line. It's 3-point shots, like a shooter. It's basically a shoot around. Everybody likes each other. They want to have all these kumbaya moments. I mean, this is, to me, like, they don't get that they're part. The players, they don't understand. They should be the ones leading what's happening. You know what I'm saying? When those contracts come up, when they renew all that stuff, it should be like, hey, this is what we bring to the table. They really can't say that anymore. And I agree with the last caller, and I agree with what Rob and the other guy were saying.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, I personally, without a huge shakeup that goes all the way down through AAU and all that stuff, I don't see this changing. And they're going to keep bringing European slow players over here. And like you said, they go back to their home country
And like I said, he wants to go play with his horses, which is all great and good. But if he's supposed to be the face of the NBA, what kind of community outreach is he doing? What is he doing to spread the the NBA message? People forget what people like Jerry West and them did when they moved from Minnesota to LA, the outreach they did in LA to even build the LA Lakers when they first came out here. Yeah. Elgin Baylor, places, people like that. They don't understand the work that was put in to get these teams where they are. But anyway, don't want to be the old guy. But the bottom line is we're not, I mean, no, really, we don't understand in this country. Like, we think we know a lot of stuff, but we haven't experienced enough to understand. We think we're the best. And I'm gonna tell you right now, until you've gone to a soccer game in Europe, until you've actually been to one, you really don't know. You really don't know what it's like to see what real sports fans look like.
Yeah.
Like I'm being honest, you have no idea.
I'm with you. Sports fans overseas are definitely they celebrate their athletes more. They're true heroes, and we celebrate our athletes in a different way, and it's delusional fandom, and it's honestly it's really dangerous. But Funky Town, thank you so much for calling in. I really, really appreciate you. Salute to you.
You got it, lady.
Thank you for your takes. Thank you for your call. Just fantastic.
You have a great one. You're doing great. Everybody hit that like button. Hit that like button. Let's get those likes up.
Thank you, Funky
All right.
Town.
Have a good one
You
now.
too.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys. I really just want to thank everybody for joining tonight. Salute to you. Salute to everybody in the chat. You guys have really just great engagement. I know there's going to be some folks that don't agree with everything that I say, and that's totally okay. Challenge me. You guys, your voices are welcomed as well. So I appreciate everybody being here. I do have another super chat to read from Tay. Salute to you for the $1.99 super chat. You're awesome, Dominique. Keep it trill. I surely will. You guys are just really dope, and I really appreciate you guys. Am I crazy? Salute to you. I see you in there. You started your show. I will stop by your channel. Guys, go ahead and subscribe to Am I Crazy's channel. Check out his content. You've heard him here calling in. He's awesome. Hopefully he'll call in for the next show if he gets a chance. But thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. For those who are just getting up early in the morning for work, have a great day at work. And for everybody else, try to get some sleep. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, like, share, and subscribe.